What's up, everybody? Back here for episode 46 of the Pitside podcast. Packed episode again this week. It's just Roger and I. Might be a little shorter than normal, but we're going to cram in a bunch of information for you here, so we'll get started in just a minute.
Welcome to the Pitside podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the Coast to Coast Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Here's your host, the A-Let Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman, Craig.
So yeah, we're back. It's been a good start to the first week of the fall season, the 2021 fall season. So a few new things going on. Did you get out and race much? I know you didn't get to be around Monday night.
Killer for Monday. I was working the election. I got to work the election next Monday. Then I'm here for a Monday. Then I'm going fishing. Me and the G-Man will be away fishing. So I'm missing 3 out of the first 4 weeks. So much for, I got no drop weeks. I'm going to have to...
You're -1 on the drop weeks. I was pretty sure you were going to win the championship this season, but I think that's probably put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, it's made it really tough. So it's... anyways, it's same old. Missed the feature for the 305s on Wednesday night.
You made the 360 feature though.
Well, I was gonna make the 305 feature. I'm trying to think what happened because I remember I got really ticked off about it at the time. I got taken out somehow, but anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. But I was rolling. I was in the I think I went from. No, that was the 305s. I went from the D. We'll talk about that in a bit too. But I went from the D to the B, C to the B, and made it to the feature. So that was in the 360s. That was okay. But yeah, it's been other than my bad start because I'm missing out. Looked like Monday night went really good. We had great car counts, and some really good racing again.
So and it's not wasn't one on the list we put together to talk about, but something we missed was the new dirt model, basically the new dry slick that they added. Hey, how have you found that? And I'll tell you my opinion too, but I guess I've made mine pretty vocal already. So I mean, do you think it's much different? I
guess it sums up how crappy a driver I am because I haven't noticed the difference. I know it's different, but it's the one thing I did notice was with Hometown Heroes, the 305s, it was a train. Mm-hmm. It was just a train going around. We need to do something about that. The 360s were great racing, but the train, we are concerned about that, and we're not sure that if we went to another track it would be any different. The 305s don't have a lot of power, and with the changes they made, it's not as racy.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what it is. That's what I told when I got out and ran Renegades Monday night. I think I told, it might have been Shorty, I told him that to me it just feels like the 360s are now the 305s. It wasn't a train, there was some passing, but it wasn't, it didn't slick off as quickly, which is one of the things, and it just doesn't feel like you got the same power down that you had before. Now, some of that can be compensated with gearing, and that that happens every new build. They shape it a little bit, but it's grown on me. I really hated it at first, and mainly probably because I jumped in and my setups didn't work anymore, right? So you had to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but it has grown on me. I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but because of the wear time taking more time, I guess you get more laps to kind of find the line before it goes away. So I think that does make the racing a little bit more interesting. And from a broadcast perspective, at least, I think it did. I noticed Marty was picking up on those things a lot as where guys were running and why they were running there. And so it's maybe makes it a little bit more interesting. I do have a theory, though, and I hadn't shared this part with anybody. I believe a big the selling point of this new build for the dirt guys, or really maybe the only one at this point, was that they were getting rid of the whoops sections that would develop down the straightaways. And I think what they actually did, the way they got rid of it, was by shrinking the track wear, right? So the track wear is a little less fast, and they reduced the effect of the slick. And I really think it turned into, that was the correction for the whoop section, and it changed the way the track wears and all this, and now people are noticing, and it's being sold as kind of, it's a feature, not a bug thing. But it's sure, like, kind of looking at the way things changed and knowing how the car feels under the slick, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and those whoop sections, I thought that was, made every track unique from that perspective. So I kind of thought it was always cool to watch those cars and hit that bump. I think it was at Williams Grove coming into one, and like the cars would be like bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
How the better guys controlled those cars at those speeds, I don't know, but I thought it was added to some of the skill that was required to run. But who am I? I mean, I just sit at the back and just But hey, you were running the second. You should have, if you could do your math, and didn't run out of fuel on turn 3 or turn 4, you would have finished second in the Renegades. So this whole new track and new setups, you went back to an old setup, and
I did. I went back to an old setup that had too much fuel in it, and so I didn't have time to do a practice run because I was in the Rebels race spotting for some of our teammates. And so by the time all the races ran over a little bit. Some of it, it's Knoxville, right? So it's just a little bit slower. But but I got in really late and didn't get to do a fuel run. So I was trying to calculate based off the few laps I got in. And sure enough, I knew I needed to remove fuel and didn't know how much. I removed 1 gallon and came up, 1 corner short, basically, a corner and a straightaway. Funny enough, I talked to Stephen Goldner after the race and just sent him a message and said, hey, do you run 19 gallons? And because he ran out going across the line, and he ran a little bit different line than me, and I was curious to know how much fuel that saved him running that other line, right? Little, just chatting about the race, but still trying to get, a little information. And he said, no, I ran 18. And I don't believe it. There's no way. He was too daggone fast to have run 18 gallons that race. So I think he got shit, he played me right back and didn't tell me the truth. But anyway, it was pretty funny. I was getting a laugh out of it. And he was supposed to have been at work too. And Shorty and I were joking about that during the race. He had said I only have, at the beginning of practice, at the beginning, he said I've only got 50 minutes before I have to be at work. And so that time had long come, and so Shorty said, you're in second, you might inherit the lead. I told Shorty, I said, he's in the lead, he's just going to be late. And sure enough, that's what I told Steven, and he was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. So ran great. I ran great. I ended up finishing, I think I was the last car on the lead lap, or maybe I was the first car 1 lap down or whatever, so didn't get the points out of it that I wanted, but I was super excited about how I finished. And then went out Tuesday night and got together with Terry, and we ran, the first edition of Topless Tuesday, which was the Wingland Sprint cars. And I have to tell you, I haven't had that much fun in a race in a long time. We got out there, and it was John Hine. Oh, geez, I'm not going to remember everybody, but John Hine, Terry, and I wrecked John Hine early, and John and I worked our way back up the field. John finished third, and I finished right behind him on the podium, and we came to the finish line neck and neck. There were points probably with about 5 to go where we were like 4 and 5 wide, but everybody kind of... I was incredible. I had told Terry and Jim Bowie hung out with us too during the race. And so we were talking to him, and I told him, I said, there's going to be a ton of cautions. I was like, this is our first time we're running the race in these cars, really. And I actually thought the track with those cars was a lot different the other way. I thought it was much harder to control, interestingly enough. But... and sure enough, I think we had 2 cautions, maybe 3. It was a great race. I mean, it went, good racing from the front to the back. So I was encouraged. So next week, if you're not familiar with it, it's an alternating series, right? So it runs 1 week it'll be wingless 360s, and then the next week are midgets, right? So just, the topless kind of sprint cars. And so we'll alternate those each week for the season. But it is one collective points, right? So if you run one and you want to run for points, you need to run the next week too.
So how'd Jim Bowie make out?
You know what? I don't know where he finished. I was quick to try to find Hine so I could apologize to him after the race, but I know he was pumped. He was like he yelled into the microphone after the race, and he said, "Woohoo! I finished. So I don't know where he finished, but I know he had a good time. He was like, Terry and I were ragging on each other real bad too. So I think he got a little enjoyment out of us just kind of making fun of one another. But
and for those that aren't familiar, Jim Bowie is 78 years old,
yeah.
and so
You'd never
I'm
know
a fan.
it. You'd never know.
No,
it. He's a fun guy.
very competitive.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. The Wednesday night, the Hometown Heroes, we had great car counts again, just phenomenal car counts. But things went a little bit screwy. I'm telling you, I'm pulling my hair out with the whole B main thing, and I'm trying to different formulas. I don't know what their algorithm is for figuring out how many go to a B main. We've had weeks where only 2 are in a C main or something, and or there's this. It ends up in the B main. There's 12 spots, and there's only 10 cars, and there was guys that could have from the previous race. So I'm working on that. But anyways, so the 360s come out, and we're kind of tight for time because we got the Hawkeye, and there's 5 mains. There was an E main, D main, C main, B main, and A main. And there was 8 cars in each. And it worked out where I think the B main had 9 cars. They were taking 8. So there was still something going on there. But I have no idea how they came up with that. And then of course that just delayed everything. And then I had partially screwed up with the Hawkeye where I only made it a 30-minute practice instead of a 45. And even a 45 may not have done it. So we canceled it for the night because there's only 8 drivers in there because everybody else was racing in the 360. And we'll be doing that this coming week. So stay tuned for that. That should be good. A little disappointed on the 360. So I think we had so many cautions. I started at the back and I was up to 11th after about 4 laps. We'd had a few cautions and guys wrecked out. But I think we ended up with there's 24 cars started, 11 were on the lead lap at the end. That's not good. So guys were a lap. I was 2 laps down. I got taken out. So I'm sure that'll get cleaned up. It's just probably a bad night. But anyways, that's how that went. So looks like we had great car counts. We're doing this on Thursday night. It looks like we had great car counts on the dirt mods. They were both full car counts, and I'm sure the prolates. Didn't get a chance to check the numbers, but I'm sure they had a good turnout for that as well. So everything's going great, and it's another season, and every season gets a little bit easier from the perspective of setting. I think we're pretty much set with our divisions. What we're going to race, how we're going to race them. We've made a few changes in the NASCAR series with the super speedway stuff, and I think we're getting close to what you'll see every season now.
Yeah, I think we've over a lot of seasons now. I think you made a note that this is actually our 10th season, so that's a pretty big milestone. When you think about it. Now I'm doing that math. But anyway, but we've been fine tuning this over the course of those seasons, right? So it's, if anybody that's been in tune kind of with what's going on will know, a couple of seasons ago we ran more divisions than this, and we probably overextended a bit, right? So we changed things. We know how to handle things in the fall now, in the summer, because we know car counts go down, although this past season they didn't as much as we expected. I think you're right, and I think we found the sweet spot as far as what's going to put on good racing, for broadcast and things like that too. And hats off to the Pro Late Model guys, because that series, we still have issues. We got issues in every series here and there. Maybe a little bit more in that series, but for the most part, it's a lot better than it was 2 seasons ago. That division pretty much almost got canceled because the racing was so poor. And it's gotten a lot better. So, it's we appreciate that too. We obviously had some trouble with ILs last season and had to do a special event to help some guys out. So hopefully that's not necessary this season. But, overall, again, the start of the season, maybe scheduling has something to do with it, but looks a lot better too. So, it seems like we're going in the right direction each season, getting a little bit better drivers too.
Terry Landis and I were gridding up for the 360. They were, qualifying had done, and everything starts showing up, and you start seeing there was 4 big heats. I think there was, about there's 38 cars, I think, in the 360s, not, never mind the 305s. And Terry just said, well, we're waiting to grade. He said, you created a monster here. Like, when you think back, we were two divisions, and now this isn't even our primary division, and it's the car counts are insane. So it's all going good. I think we've got a great group of guys. I know I had just an example, I had a messenger thread I created for the Hawkeye guys. And you weren't in that one. I had wished I put you in there, because the camaraderie between drivers, the comments going back and forth and all the ribbing and stuff, it's great. It is a community. And there was another, I'm trying to remember what other group there was, and you were in that group, and we had commented about the camaraderie.
It was for the Brody Sim final night, and we got everybody together. We were getting videos and stuff. And it was awesome. It was something I hadn't seen really, almost since that first season when we were running two divisions that had the same guys in both, and it was everybody palling around, and it's that seems to be returning some, and it's nice. It's we've maintained that community spirit, I think, all along, but I think we found a good balance right now between being competitive and putting on good racing and racing hard with one another, but still being able to, finish up racing and goof off and pal around.
Yeah, and that, it's encouraging, because it's cross-team banter, it's which is good. So it's it's just a growth thing that we've seen, and just really happy to see it. Yeah.
Yep, and so just a reminder, kind of on the same lines, one of our kind of more for fun series, we do have on Saturdays. If you weren't running our NASCAR series before, you may be interested in it now, because it's changed a little bit. We're running it as a Super Speedway series. It started a little bit previously, so that'll continue on, but those are all like the major big tracks: Talladega, Daytona. You might have to fill in here for me. I know you've got the iRacing Super Speedway on the schedule. And then they're just rotating through those tracks. It's one of those things everybody's got a chance to win. Most everybody in the league came from dirt or dirt guys, and so getting out and running asphalt for 75 laps and managing tires on asphalt's a different beast. So it just lightens the I guess intensity of the event a little bit.
Yeah.
So along the same lines, we've got lots of divisions going still, right? I think we're at, it's 17? Yep, so 17 divisions. We do still need admins, right? So we've got guys that are not really supposed to, when I say not supposed to, the guys that have other roles that have been filling gaps. So I'm gonna throw it over to Joe Halter real quick. He's gonna let us know what we need, because I know, frankly, I haven't been able to keep up with it, but there's a few different races that, weekly races that need admins. So ideally, what we'd like to see is if we got enough volunteers that we could rotate guys, so you don't have to admin even every week. So that's an option too. So let's get a word from Joe, and we'll come back and finish up here in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying Pitside podcast. Joe Halter here. Hey, just want to take a quick minute to talk about some admin needs that we have here at Coast to Coast Racing League. Currently, we're about 5 admins short of allowing people to have enough time to take some time off. We have 2 races currently that are not covered, so we're looking for about 5 folks to come in and admin. Training will be provided. We have 2 races that we need to cover almost immediately, and without these volunteers, it looks like those races may not be able to happen. So if you're interested, if you ever thought you might be interested, please get a hold of us. Let us know that you're interested in volunteering to admin races. We will provide training. Again, we're looking for five folks. All training will be provided. Those of you that are already volunteer, super appreciate it. You guys are making the league happen. So let me know if you're interested. Thank you very much.
To that, Joe, and we're always looking for admins, and we're also always looking for sponsors. So it's sponsorship that keeps the broadcasts going, and we have several different packages. We've got most of, I think, the broadcast divisions covered, but it doesn't cover everything. So like we depend on some of the sponsorship of the non-broadcast divisions to supplement that. So there's still lots of divisions available, and that includes, you still get an ad read for the during all 9 broadcasts, and you still get the social media stuff, and also the other one is if you do sponsor before the end of week 2, you will get your company or team or whoever it is, the sponsor, on the back of our official league T-shirt. And maybe I'm kind of jumping around here, but maybe it's time let's go out of order here. Let's talk about the C2C Speed Shop.
Yeah, if you hadn't said it, I was going to, because I think you're right. That's a key point. If you're interested in sponsorship, there will be. We have teased the C2C Speed Shop. I think this is the first time we've officially announced the name. But we will have a merch store, right? So it's going to start off kind of small. We'll offer you guys a few things that we can get, put together. T-shirts. So the first thing that we're going to release, and I believe that will release possibly even before this goes live, but if not, maybe in correspondence with this going live, we will have a Champions T-shirt. So this is a T-shirt. It's a special commemorative edition T-shirt for the season. So if you finished in the top 3 of any division that we ran last season, your name's on the back of the T-shirt. It's a pretty nice looking T-shirt. I got to tell you, the designer did a great job getting it together, and It's pretty hard to fit all those things. I'm just guessing that it's hard to fit all of them on the back of the shirt, but we got it done, and I think it looks pretty good. So that'll be out real soon. We'll also have just general T-shirts for the guys that suck. But if you didn't finish in the top 3, you might not want the Champions T-shirt, but we'll have a General League T-shirt, and on those sponsors also, it'll include our sponsors. So those will be good to have. They won't change so much season to season. And then we'll have a mug available as well. I think Roger just really wants the mug for himself, but they do look spectacular.
I want a mug.
I
want a mug.
I didn't really care about it a ton when I was putting it together, and then I put the graphics on it, or somebody did, I guess. And it turned out really, really good. I was impressed. So I might end up picking up one too. That's pretty cool. And we'll get to that here in a minute. Well, I guess we can talk about it because along with some of the other stuff that's printed, right, that we're doing, we're now taking in driver fees. And at this point, I would assume everybody knows about the driver fees, but not many people have paid their driver's fees. This season, everybody does have until week 3 because it's a new thing. So we're getting it in, we're getting it in place a little bit later than we will at the start of the next season. But you do need to take care of that, right? So we're on the verge of starting week 2 now. So you're already kind of running out of time. It's very easy to do. We're doing this through PayPal, and I know some questions have come up about that. So in driver communication, there is it's pinned at the top of driver communication to get the code. If you go to PayPal, if you have a PayPal account, and you punch in it's at and your username, you can punch that in there, and you can send the $10 that way. The other option, if you don't have a PayPal is the easiest way for us to do it, and we appreciate it if you can do it that way. If you don't have a PayPal, you can email or contact Bill Calder, and he will send you, I think he prefers an email, but I'm sure he'd take you by Facebook Messenger if you have to. And he can send you a request for payment. This is for those guys who don't have a PayPal account, can't open a PayPal account. If he sends you that request for payment, you have an option to pay as a guest and then can use a credit card. So just to dispel any concerns about that, everybody should be able to pay. If you can pay your iRacing monthly subscription, you should be able to pay this too. So I think that'll kind of solve that issue. We had to kind of work that out. So we know we're getting behind this a little bit. But these fees that we're putting together are, it's not just to go in like our sponsorship. We're trying to do more for the league. Some of that stuff we talked about last week, in that we've had guys that are paying to host all these races, and we're talking hundreds of races every season out of their pockets, and we needed to eliminate that. But the drivers get something too, so I'll let you talk about that a little bit, Roger.
Yeah, and really it's the driver's fund. I mean, it's driver's fees to the driver's fund. So once all the back end expenses are covered, which, like you say, has been covered by individuals in the past. Once those are covered, everything else goes back to the drivers. So, for instance, this season, and we'll be a little late getting out of the gate with this, but every feature winner will get the feature winner sticker for at least one win in their division. So, if somebody's going to win, like Bob Light, that wins
Yeah.
almost every Roadrunner, it's one feature win per season.
Adhesive is getting too hard to source for Bob Light. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll have the feature winner stickers that we're giving out. There'll be the Driver of the Week mug, special mug just for the drivers of the week. And there'll be more. There'll be more. Like whatever is left in that fund will go back to the drivers as awards of some sort. So, like for the Hawkeye, we've got some special awards. That'll be from that fund. So it's all going back to the drivers once we've covered off all our expenses, and I think it'll be fairly substantial. So yeah, so I think
and
it's all
forgive me
good.
if you said this. This also pays for the trophies at the end of the season too, which has always been a little bit of a kind of herding cats, right? We got to get addresses, guys got to pay. So one season we had trophies recovered, but or it was an event, you had to pay shipping. We're covering all of that now through this.
Yes.
So
everything will be covered on the trophies. Andy does all the. He donates all his time on that, and we subsidize some of the trophy material stuff, and then the shipping the drivers have paid in the past, but now that's all included. So it'll be included for, even though we're collecting the drivers fund for this season, we will cover all those trophies. We'll start doing that right away immediately. So drivers will see benefits from that right away.
Right. Absolutely.
So, yeah. The other one too. Just go back to the sponsor thing because I kind of segued from one into the other. But we've also got this. We not just a division, but we also have this $50 where you can have a special night, and somebody's already followed up on that. And your business or whatever will get on the back of that T-shirt. So. If you're looking to do something like that, it can be a tribute race. I know KSR guys are doing a tribute to
Davy Brown.
What's his name? Yeah, Davy Brown. When we go to the Grove, and now we've had Rory Collins, and I'm trying to remember the name of his accounting company. I'll give him a plug right now, but it's his wife's accounting firm, so they're excited about that. And that her company will go on the back of the T-shirt. So that's another opportunity for people to get involved and get involved soon. So it will show up on the shirts. But yeah, the stores will be open, and we'll be starting out with that championship shirt, and then we'll be following it up with a league shirt and a mug, and then we'll just be adding things as the season goes on. So stay tuned for all that. And it also, the Speed Shop also includes a lot of our partners, like Dylan Westbrook Racing. You'll be able to get a lot of his apparel. We're still in the process of setting that all up. And help me here with all the different companies. SGBC
3D printing.
3D printing
I think I got that right.
They got a site. Andy Patton, A&J Trophies, he's going to have information on his stuff there. Andy Piercefield with Cool Ray and the Xfinity team, some of their apparel and that will be available on there. And I know I'm missing somebody, a key sponsor. Geez, I can't think who it is. There's somebody else in there that's. But anyways, all our partners are going to be on there. You can get their either their wares or some of their apparel. So stay tuned for all of that. It's coming like very soon. It should be out by the time this goes to broadcast.
Yeah, and so just jumping back to, I know there was something else we kind of missed, was along with the driver of the week and the feature winners, in order to be eligible to win those, you do need to provide us with basically your address, right? So we're gonna be putting together basically a new registration form for everybody to fill out, because we do have additional needs now compared to when we had drivers fill those out before. So this will be something that gets sent out to the current drivers to basically refill out. It's going to be the same information you gave us before for the most part, but we need some additional information. So if you do win a feature, that we can just send it out to you without having to track you down, or you having to track us down, or figure out who to tell. So we want to make that as easy on you as possible. And before we get going, I don't know if you have anything else, but I did want to introduce our new drivers for the week. So it looks like we've got 7 of those drivers. So we've got the 008 of Bob Everson, the 552 of Damian Paul, the number 9 of Jason Schoenbachler. I hope I got that right. I think I did. I practiced many times. The 04 of Taylor Wood, the 225 of Chris Forsyth, and that's a welcome back. I know he ran with us before. The 67 of Brandon Gooten. Did I get that right?
I think you did, yeah.
Okay, and he's raced with us before, too. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, he has a brother.
Yeah, and I don't know if he races or his brother races, but they race locally, so, yeah, it's good to see him back.
And the last one, but of course not least, is the 73 of David Reinhardt. And that name sounds a little familiar to me, too, but I'm not sure why. So I might just be mixing it up with a hockey player. I'm not.
Hey, and a big shout-out to another guy that's come back. We didn't see him all last season, Ryan Beagle.
Yeah.
Big dog. Big dog's in the house, and he's already shown his presence, I think, on Monday night. So
he did. He ran.
It was good to see Ryan back.
He ran Rebels, and so I mentioned I was in the room spotting, and everybody, as they came in, everybody said, "Oh, it's good to see Ryan back." So it's he's a good presence to have in the room. He's a fun guy. So yeah, it was
always
definitely
runs
good to see him back.
Yep. So it's
I've been there since the beginning.
Yep. Great guy. So I don't know if there's anything else. I want to give a shout out to Bob the Good. He's going to be looking after all those stickers and stuff. So he's going to be shipping them out either on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. So that's where we're going to need this form filled out. And it's going to be very similar to what we did in the charity race, where we were recognizing all the I think it was very cool the way we introduced all the drivers. But it's going to be that same information. So it'll be your email address. It'll be your home address. So that's for the prizes and stuff. But then we do want your name, your racing name, your nickname, the team you're on, your top 3 sponsors, your hometown, and I think that's about it. But anyways, we want everybody get that from everybody, because that whole intro thing, we want to do that for a few of our special events through the season. So it'd be way easier to do this once and get it from everybody, and just appreciate everybody's cooperation with that.
For sure. So that'll be coming out in the next couple of days. Again, just want to reiterate, make sure you pay your fees. Check the driver communication page on Facebook. If you can't find it, message me or Roger or Bill. Any of us can get you the link. But if you don't have, like I said, if you don't have a PayPal, you do need to get in contact with Bill, because he has to send you the request. It just works in a different order, basically, but it's going to end up with the same result. So everybody should be good to go. So on that note, I think we'll close it up for this week. We should be here next week, but I will mention if anything gets wonky with the schedule, I'm at Eldora for the 4 Crowns. Pretty pumped up about that. So it's a possibility things could slip. I'd actually like to do it from there, but I don't trust the internet. So we'll see. We should see you back here for next week's episode 47. And until then, stay safe.
I was supposed to be at Eldora, so that's why I'm a little bit upset I can't get across the border. So all this hype that these guys are doing, getting ready for the trip, is just it's hurting this unit here, I'll tell you. But hey, I need everybody pulling for me on next Wednesday night in the Hawkeye. I'm up the front in a Legend, and God help me, I don't want to take anybody out. I don't want to be that guy, and I'm just I've been getting some extra laps in the Legend because I just don't want to be that guy.
Are you starting on the pole?
No, I'm starting, I think, 4th.
Oh, okay.
But, hey, I got a chance to win. So every division or every class of car has a winner, and there's a special prize going out to every winner. So, I got to get, there's Boyd Dell, Bob Curtis, and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. But, I'm coming out for you guys. I'm coming for you guys. I'm telling you right now, because I want that special award.
Sounds like a right rear coming your way, guys. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you tuning in once again, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks.
Drive safe, everybody.